Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodak. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a mindset flaw that we will get over together, and I think will really help you if you're trying to change your life in any way. Something I suffered with, something many guys in my program Men of Fire suffer with, and I help them with it. I overcame it, and I'm going to help you overcome it if you suffer with this as well. So say you want to lose 50 pounds, and it's taken you 20 years to gain 50 pounds. And you say, this is my year. This is the year I do it. Everything's going to change. And you're 1 month in, you're down 10 pounds. And you look at yourself in the mirror one day and you say, damn it, I'm not there yet. Why aren't I there yet? And then you go another 2 months, you lose another 10 pounds. 3 months have gone by, you're down 20 pounds, which is great. And you go, damn it, I'm not there yet. And you start to get frustrated and frustrated. Then you get so frustrated that you quit. That happens to many, many guys. And it is wanting the results to happen now. It's, I want this thing to be different right now. I want my life to be different immediately, instead of waiting for the process to happen, instead of letting time do its work, and instead of being patient. We want things to happen right away. And why is that a problem? Because if we get so impatient and we get so upset that the thing we want isn't happening right now, we're going to quit. We're going to sabotage ourselves. We're going to feel bad and have so much disappointment that we don't even want to try again. So during this podcast, I'm going to try to reframe our thinking of that and give you 4 different strategies of how to think about this that will help you overcome yourself. Because that's really what this is. It's you are convincing yourself that things should happen quicker. You're feeling frustrated today instead of looking at the facts of how much you've actually persevered. I'm going to talk to you about, we'll call it the Amazon Prime fallacy of wanting things to be done right now. Talk to you about the destination delusion, wanting to be at the mountain peak, ignoring the demolition phase, and then being blind to small victories. I was just on Amazon Prime, and there's all these different options for headphones, so many different ones, and then I clicked on Prime only, because for me, like, if I can't get it today or tomorrow, I don't want it. That's my mindset. It's instant gratifications. I want the thing right now. And I even considered just doing this podcast later because I was going to drive out to Best Buy and grab some because I wanted it right now for this podcast. I wanted it right now. I have a Costco membership. They do same-day shipping. So I could do a $500 Costco order right now for food, and 2 hours later it would be at my doorstep. It's amazing. I have a problem. Amazon solves it. Costco solves it immediately, which is why they're such great businesses. Whenever we have personal problems, such as our health, habits, mindset, self-belief, self-confidence, alcohol, drugs, vices, being negative, bad relationships, marriage issues, parenting issues, income issues, those cannot be solved today. You cannot do something today, take action, and have the entire problem wiped off the face of the earth. It's going to take time. But we want the same instant gratification. You know, we expect deep, meaningful change to arrive at our doorstep 2 days after we say to the universe, this is what I want to change. You know, we spent 10, 20, 30 years becoming this person, and then we want it to change immediately. It happens in Men of Fire all the time. My father transformation program. A guy will join, for 30 years he's been gaining 50, 60 pounds, up and down, up and down, up and down. And, 1 week will go by, he'll be down, like usually when you start off, man, the weight sheds off right away. He'll be down 5 pounds. And then he might get frustrated on week 3, week 4, whenever he's not losing 5 pounds the first week, every single week like he did that first week. And a lot of that's water weight and other things. And this is a very important lesson. Like getting frustrated with yourself, and that lesson that guy's going to go through in this program is one of the mindset strategies we work on. Like I'm counting on that guy having that problem. Because before, he would have that problem alone, and then he would quit and sabotage himself. He would say, screw it, I'm not making as much progress as I want to, and he would just binge on the weekend because he deserves it, or because he said, F it, it's not working anyway. So there's lessons that I count on everyone going through that I have to let them go through so that I can then guide them through it, and the community can guide them through it. This is one of them. It's your progress in terms of results is not as fast as it was at the very beginning. But that's also a good thing. Like if you go from 300 pounds to 200 pounds, your first month, you're going to lose a ton of weight. You might go from 300 to 275 or something crazy. Whenever you go from, it might take you a month to go from 204 to 200. If 200, you're just super lean and jacked and single-digit body fat. For you to lose that much fat, at the very end, it might take you a whole month. So the scale, what you see, is for a lot of guys the value. Like that's the thing that matters the most. It's what the scale says. And that's wrong. That's the way you sabotage yourself. That's the way you get down on yourself and you quit. So part of what I do is I help men get through that perspective and mindset through some of these strategies I'm going to share with you. And we do these live on our Zoom calls and on our coaching calls, and in the group we do have exercises we do. But I'm going to take you through some of them that I do with my guys in case you can find yourself going through this. I certainly did. I remember, I would get to like 240, 245. I stopped looking at the scale. And then I would say, this is the month I'm going to work out every single day. And I'd work out 30 days in a row. And then I'd be down 10 pounds. And I'd look at the mirror, I'd still see a fat guy. I'm like, why are you still fat? You're working so hard. And I'd look at myself in the mirror, I'd say, today, right now, you are working hard. You're being disciplined today. Why do you still look like that? Well, it took years to get to that point. I need to put in the work. So this whole mindset of wanting it to happen now is just the instant gratification world that we live in. It's like Amazon Prime. It's a poison to our potential. It's the immature, selfish thinking of a boy, not the mature thinking of a man, of a leader, of a full-grown adult. So here, let's go through the flaws. We got the Amazon Prime, which we talked about. It takes you 10, 30 years to become this person. We need to take a step back and allow time to do its work. We had bad habits, mediocrity, reactive thinking, vices, all these things that we want to get rid of. We did those for 30 years maybe. Allow yourself some grace and time to get rid of it. We can't erase decades of neglect with just a few weeks of effort. If you don't change what you believe about yourself, none of this is going to matter. So you got to give yourself time. That's why most of the guys in my program are in it for 6, 12 months. I've got guys who've been in it for 2 years who just want to constantly be held accountable and keep on pushed. It's almost a little, whenever you have that thinking of it's only going to take me a couple weeks, a couple months to reverse decades of bad habits, it's a little arrogant. It's a little greedy. It's a little selfish. It also disrespects the depth of change that's required for you to change. The person you want to become, is he worth the amount of time it's going to take for you to become that person? If the changes you want to make are great, is that worth putting in the time and effort right now? Or do you need instant gratification? If you have massive changes to make in your life, and if it's taken you years to crumble to this point, isn't it worth putting in years of effort and lots of resource and investment on your part to change? Or does it have to be free? Does it have to be quick? Does it have to be easy? No commitment, no investment. Is that what your change is worth to you? If it is, the change you want to make isn't worth a lot to you. Like if you get frustrated at yourself because you haven't reached the destination in a couple weeks, in a couple months, then we must not be aiming at some big changes. That if you want to completely change your life and the rest of your life, which means you have to change as a man, everything about you, shouldn't that be worth time and investment and work? Yeah, of course it should. So don't disrespect the depth of change that's required. We'll call that the Amazon Prime fallacy. Number 2, the destination delusion. Here's what I mean by that. We think that there's a destination. We think that once I look this way, I'm done. And what happens, I think 75 hard is great. It's changed a lot of people's lives, but I also know many people who've done it, have reached 75 days, and then they binge for 2 weeks and are back to where they started because none of their habits have changed, because they haven't changed as a person. So they have a destination mindset of once I reach this, I did it, I checked it off, I am changed. No, you are what you do today. A changed man means your actions are changed. It means your habits are changed. Habits are not a destination. Habits are something you do every single day, regardless of whether you've arrived or not. If it takes you 2 months longer than you think, you're still doing the habits. That's what a changed man does. I change by what I did today. How can I prove it? Well, because I woke up earlier, I journaled, I served my family, I went to the gym, I ate healthy, I meal prepped, I planned my day. And before I was chaotic and not taking care of myself and neglected myself and my family. So because of that, I'm changed. Just because you reach a certain point, you don't give up all that. No, that is who you are now. You are what you do. You're not what you look like you're just today. You're what did you do today. That is one of the most important perspectives to have with this. Not the result, what you did today. So a lot of us believe that, one day we're going to arrive and the work is going to be over. It's false. That's a lie. The work is never going to be over. The man you want to be isn't a destination. The man you want to be is a direction. He is the daily actions you take. He is the goals you have for yourself, the vision you have for yourself. That man is constantly being forged. He's not fixed. So don't expect the work to end, because as soon as you're expecting the work to end, that's when you're going to start to slide backwards. Number 3, ignoring the demolition phase. So let's use the analogy of building a house versus building a castle, or building a shack. Many of us have turned our bodies into shacks, or our marriages into shacks, or our finances into shacks. And it's been 20 years of us building this shack, and one day we wake up and we say, I don't want to live in a shack anymore. I want to live in a castle. Okay, it took you 20 years to build that shack. Building a castle is going to take a lot of work. What's step 1 of putting a castle where the shack is? Well, we've got to demolish it. We have to destroy it. We need to bring in the wrecking ball and smash that thing to the ground. So you're going to have a demolition phase, which means it's going to take you lots of time and energy, in doubt and fear and depression and saying, I want to quit, saying this isn't worth it. It's going to take you many of those days to destroy this old, crippled, weak, pathetic shack that you've been building. Are you willing to suffer the demolition phase to get to the building phase? Many people want to skip past that and go straight to building and say, well, I want to look shredded right now. No, I'm not willing to put in the discipline and learn correct eating habits and learn the perspective shifts and systems and habits it takes for me to go to the gym and be consistent. I just want to take a pill. That's wanting to skip the demolition phase and part of the building phase. Are you willing to suffer the demolition phase? You need to deconstruct yourself. On our Men on Fire retreat, it's basically what it was. Day one was destroy the old you. Day 2 was build the new you. So day 1 was all of our exercises and workshops were all about destroying that old version of us. Day 2 is building the new version of us. Are you willing to do that? You cannot build a castle or a skyscraper on the foundation of a shack. So you have to clear that stuff out. You got to clear that toxic sludge out of there. That means you're going to have to see parts of yourself that you don't like. But you have to get to cut it out of yourself. The demolition process is loud, it's messy, it's chaotic. It may at times look like you're making zero progress, but this is the most important part. This is the forge. This is when you can't quit. This is when you have to keep on going, especially on those days you feel like you're making zero progress. As long as you stick with your habits, it will happen. But if you quit, there's zero chance of you making any progress. Number 4, being blind to small victories. And this is, I'll show you guys an exercise that I had my group do on today's call on this topic. So I'm sharing with you straight the same stuff I gave to them. We can be so obsessed with the destination and the outcome that we miss the journey that we've been on. I'll give you an example. Me and my son went camping a couple weeks ago with our friends, and it's on this mountain, and there's a really, really long, steep road that goes up to the camping site. And for about 5 years, we've been coming to this camping site. And I was always thinking, man, that'd be so badass to walk up and down that thing, or jog, or do something up and down. It'd be such a great workout. So last year I did it by myself twice when we were camping, and I was just dead by the top. It's really, really steep, really hard. And it's always hot. So this time I grabbed Nathan, and Nathan did it with me. And we started from the bottom, and then the whole time we were talking, we were, looking at the deer and the turkeys and all the animals that were around, but we were always focused on the top. We were saying to ourselves, how long is it going to take? Is it just around this corner? Is it around this bend? We're focused on the top. And then I remember we stopped and we looked back, and he was like, oh my God, we've gone so far. He's like, I didn't realize we went this high. Because we were so focused on the destination. We were so focused on reaching the peak, we missed how far we've actually came. We had so many great conversations. We saw so many animals. We had so many funny moments and lessons we learned along the journey. And we almost took that for granted because we were so focused on the peak. And many of us do that in our journeys of self-improvement. Many of us are so obsessed with this random weight number that we give ourselves. We're 250 pounds, and we tell ourselves one day, I want to be 195. Why? I don't know. We just want to be 195. So we tell ourselves that, and you'll go from 250 to 230 over 2 months, which is crazy, which is awesome, but you're unhappy because you're not 195, and then you're unhappy every single day until you get to 195. And most likely, if that's your mindset, you're going to quit before you get there because you're so unhappy and not enjoying the process and not doing the things I'm teaching you right now. Imagine if you were 350 pounds and you needed like 2 years to get to a healthy weight. Let's say you're like 5'10", 350. So yeah, you got 2 years of work to go before you're in the, low 200s, high 190s, which would be the healthy weight. You can either fall in love with the process and have your value in the disciplined habits you're building, or you can be upset every single day at the person you are when you look in the mirror. Which of those two perspectives is going to lead to a better outcome? Falling in love with the habits and the person you're becoming is the one that's going to lead you to the promised land and lead you to change. So don't be blind to your victories. Me and Nathan were hiking up the mountain. Okay, we're not there yet, but look how far we've came. I'll give you some examples. Say you're starting my program, or you're listening to the podcast, and you're trying to change your life. Hey, I woke up 12 times in a row. I'm not single digit body fat, which you don't have to be. I just keep using that as an example. I'm not in the best shape of my life yet. My marriage isn't saved. My finances aren't saved. My family isn't saved yet. I'm not the best I want to be, but I woke up 12 times in a row, and last month I couldn't do it 2 times in a row. That's a win. You got to write that down. That's progress you're making. You have to suffer the demolition phase. You could discount the 20 times you chose water over beer, or the many times you were at a family function or a function with friends and you didn't have dessert. You didn't have alcohol. You didn't eat what everyone else was eating. You decided to live life according to your own standards. That happens to me 30 times a month now because I have a massive family. They all live in the area. So we've got like 100 birthday parties and celebrations every single month. So every single one of them, it's like, Chris, you want dessert? No. Chris, you want dessert? No. You sure you don't want dessert? No, I'm good. You want a beer? You want a drink? Nope, I'm good. Not to say I never drink alcohol. Probably once every 2 months if I'm on a date with Sarah and I feel like I want to, I'll have a drink. But I do realize that drinking alcohol makes me get bad sleep, want to snack, and has, in general, some negative effects. But I want to have the whole podcast on that. But the point is I get tempted over and over and over again all month from everyone. And every time I say no, that's proof to myself that I'm disciplined. And that's a win. Every no is a win. Every time I say no to somebody else, that's a win to me. It's no, look, you are disciplined. You are consistent. You do want to change your life. This is the man you are. No, you haven't reached the pinnacle, this imaginary destination, but you're pointed in that direction. And that's what matters. The direction matters. The destination may or may not come. The direction matters. What you're doing today, what your intentions are. That's what matters. So focus in on that. Maybe with your wife, 10 times this month you swallowed your pride and really listened to her and didn't try to teach her something or snap on her. Those are wins. That is progress towards the man you're becoming. Maybe you took your kids on walks 5 times this month and before it was 0. Maybe you're actually present at the end of the day and you weren't on your phone. In Men of Fire this week we're doing a daily challenge of the last hour of the day you can't be on your phone every single day. Those are huge wins. That changes the way you sleep, changes your relationships, and changes the setup for the next day. Sometimes we look for an explosion instead of the steady fire we've been building from the beginning. So let's kind of sum up what we talked about. I'll give you an exercise to do and a couple new points for you to ponder, some wisdom for you. This is a mindset worm that can sabotage you and can keep you stuck. So this is a very important podcast, really important message. So save this one. Re-listen to it if you need to. But first off, we have to respect the timeline, like we talked about with the castle and the skyscraper. We spent 30 years building a shack. Do we really think we can build a skyscraper in its place in 30 days, in 90 days? No. Give the man you want to become the respect of time. Give him the honor and respect of the work and time it's going to take to build that man. Do you have a great vision for the person you want to become? Yes? Then give him the time he needs. Jim Rohn says, don't give arbitrary timelines to worthwhile goals. Great quote. Focus on being 1% better than you were yesterday. Try to fall in love with the process, not the promise. Don't be obsessed with the destination and miss all the little journeys it takes to get there. And for me, I look back on my teaching career, and every one of those days, after a certain point, for the last 6-7 years, I was like, I need to get out of here. I want to quit. I need to leave. And I'm sure I missed a lot of the journey I was on because I was so focused on the destination. But now looking back, I'm grateful for that hard journey. And I also wish at the time, instead of coming down on myself so hard every single day about you're not there yet, you're not there yet, you're not there yet, I wish I would have gave myself a pat on the back and said, Chris, you are working so hard to change your life. Do you realize that, Chris? You are working so hard right now to change your life. That is awesome. You're a badass. You're doing something 99% of people are terrified to do. You're not there yet, but you will be there, and you're working hard at it right now. That's the mindset you could have. The other mindset you could have is you're not there yet. You're not there yet. Oh, you're wasting your life. You're not there yet. Try to have the other mindset. The daily process, that's the only thing you can control. The outcome is just a byproduct of your commitment to the process. So just focus on the process, fall in love with the process. Here's the exercise for you. This is what I had my guys do. Okay, so if you have made some progress, you're not where you want to be yet, or you get frustrated with not arriving soon, I want you to do this. Get a piece of paper, get a pencil, and this is the same exercise I had my group do. So we're going to talk about the old you. So for the old you, these are the questions for him. How did he handle stress? How did the old you handle stress? Write that down. Okay, now, what time did he wake up? And we did this in my group today. This is the exercise. For me, I had to get to work at 7:30. I would wake up at 6:30 and be disheveled some of the days. Now I'm waking up at 3:45, 4 a.m. Very different. How did I used to handle stress? Well, fast food, candy, occasionally drinking, scrolling my phone, complaining to my wife. How do I handle it now? Cold plunge, working out, creating, pushing myself, making my life so I have less stress. How did he speak to his wife and kids? Question number 3. How did he speak to his wife and kids, the old you? What did he eat and drink? And I shared this on my call too. So what did the old you used to eat and drink? I said this might have been the fattest moment of my life. I remember being on a lunch break at school and going to McDonald's, and then after I went to McDonald's, I went to Wendy's to get something else for a 30-minute lunch break. How disgusting and fat is that? Like, McDonald's wasn't enough. Now, I don't have dessert on my birthday. I have a drink once every 2 or 3 months. Never smoke. My diet is vegetables, fruit, and meat, pretty much. Today, so far, I had egg whites for breakfast and a protein shake for a snack, and it's about noon. How much did he complain? How much did the old you complain? That's the final question. So the old me, like I said, complained to my wife too much. And at work, I complained to my coworkers about work, and they complained back to me. So it was like a negative, toxic spiral where we just complained about work all the time. And that was one of the main reasons I wanted to leave. I don't want to be in this environment anymore. So then what you have to do is write down who you are now. And I've been saying the before and afters for me as I've been doing this with you, but that's an exercise for you to do. Who are you now? How did you change now? Write that down. So even if the changes are small, there's still changes. They're still there. There's still proof. And that's what we're doing with this. It's shifting our perspective. The whole philosophy that I have with Men of Fire and self-transformation has these 3 pillars. Perspective shift is one of them. That's what this is doing. It's shifting your perspective. Like I said, the guy who says, I'm a failure every single day is a perspective. The guy who builds proof to himself and says, I love the process every single day, that's a perspective. Which of these 2 perspectives 12 months from now is going to result in a better result, is going to lead to a better result? That's the power of having a correct perspective versus a skewed perspective. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to shift your perspective. So even if the changes are small, you still make changes. This is proof to you. The evidence of your progress, the proof of your progress, is the antidote to your discouragement. So give yourself a massive list of proof of this is why I'm a badass. Because you are. You just got to remind yourself. And if you only have your own negative thoughts spewing through your head, then you are going to tear yourself down. I know I can be if it was just me, I'd be a really negative person. I would say used to. Right now I'm a pretty damn positive person, and I pump myself up, and I pump others up, and I inspire other people, and I inspire myself. But I used to be very negative. But I still have coaches. I'm still in men's groups. I still have people that I listen to and podcasts and read books that fill my head with positivity and raise my vision. If it's only you and you're a negative person, you're a judgmental person, this isn't going to work out, I'm not going to commit, I'm going to fail, that kind of person, then yeah, you're going to be constantly pulling your vision downward. So surround yourself, like I said last podcast, surround yourself with people who raise your vision. Lastly, I'm going to say the frustration you feel is a good thing. The frustration you're feeling right now of not being where you want to be, that is a good thing. That's the symbol of the resistance you need to defeat this final boss. If you didn't have that frustration, I would say, well, you're not ready to level up yet. That is the old you throwing his final tantrum, flailing and scratching away at you, trying to fight you. Like the frustration of not being there yet, that is the natural symptom of you battling yourself. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't be close. So accept that. Don't run from it. Sit in that pain. Sit in that frustration, and then just keep on taking steps forward. Consistency is your greatest weapon. Doesn't matter how small. Taking steps forward. Taking steps forward. It's like the turtle in the hare. Just keep on taking steps forward. That is your best weapon. Discipline is your best weapon against complacency, against depression, against doubt, against fear. That's the fire. Don't run from it. Don't complain about it. Stand in it. That's the fire you need. Stand in that fire. Don't run from it. The man you were called to be is forged there. He's not forged on the couch. He's not forged sleeping in. The man you're called to be isn't made with alcohol or fast food or sugar or distraction or vices. He's made early in the morning at the gym or in a cold shower, or you proving to yourself that you don't need food or alcohol or anything to be you. You don't need any of these drugs or anything to be you. You need nothing. You're that strong. How empowering is that thought? You don't need anything to be you. You don't need alcohol to be happy. You don't need vices and distraction to be focused. You don't need fast food or candy for you to be happy. You need nothing. That's a very empowering thought. So when you feel that frustration and that doubt, sit in it and endure that feeling, because your level up is on the other side of that frustration and doubt.